Welcome to Prospect Basketball Weekly, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Mount Prospect. I'm here with boys varsity head coach John Camardello. Thank you for joining us on this nice Wednesday morning.
Absolutely, Wyatt. Happy 2019.
Yes, thank you very much, and it's been a very good 2018 for your basketball program, an MSL championship, and also a 4-0 start to division. And you started ended your 2018 with the Wheeling Hardwood Classic. Can you describe how you think you played in that tournament?
I think we played extremely hard. We went up against some really stiff competition with Glenbrook South, Waukegan, and then Deerfield in the last three games. I think for the most part we competed. We could have shot the ball a little bit better, valued the ball a little bit more on offense. And what it does, both in the Thanksgiving tournament at Vidor and then the Hardwood, is that it shows you what you need to try and play for championships in the new year. And so we feel, we didn't get as many wins as we wanted. But what I think we did is we learned a lot of lessons from it that we can take and try and apply to the second half of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how do you think it's an advantage that you played such really good teams like Glenbrook South's a really good program? How do you think that gives you an advantage heading into the rest of the divisional schedule?
Well, you have no margin for error, and so in certain games and in certain times you can miss a possession here. Take a chance here. If you don't value every single possession against a team like Glenbrook South or Waukegan, right, the game can be out of hand within a few minutes. And I think our guys start to realize that is every single possession, whether you're in transition, whether you're in the half court, on either side of the ball, you've got to make sure that you're locked in and you understand sort of the pace and the flow of the game. In order to make decisions for your team to try and help us win. Yeah,
and in your first day of that tournament, you started out very well with a win against Notre Dame, a last-second shot at the end.
Yep.
How was that a big momentum getter? So to even just go into Glenbrook South like, hey, we won in a very tough way.
Well, I think the craziest part of that game is we were down 9 going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I think we only had 25 or 26 points, and by the end of regulation, we were tied, and then the chance to win it in overtime with Jack Schneider hitting that huge shot. I think that's another sign of this team is it's sometimes different guys on different nights, and Jack stepped up. He didn't doubt. We found him on the perimeter, and I think that's what this team is learning is to always look for that extra pass. We talk all the time. It's our shot. It's not your shot.
Yeah.
And this team, much like last night in our win over Hoffman, the ball was moving all over the place, and it gives us an advantage.
And now you start a very, very interesting divisional schedule where you're going to be playing a lot more on the road, and it starts with Rolling Meadows. What have you seen so far from them?
Oh, my gosh. Well, probably the most dynamic player, in the state with Max Christie. Coach Kadovich and I have been going against each other now for well over a decade, and tons of mutual respect. We're both Illinois Wesleyan alums.
Oh, yes.
We've got that going back and forth, but this is what you want, a rivalry game. They're 3-1, we're 4-0. So there's a lot on the line. You got to go on the road, and it's a tall order for us. But we're excited to get to the next couple of days of practice and then get out on Friday.
Coach Gary Judson, also an Illinois Wesleyan alum, a lot. Battle of Illinois Wesleyan alums against Rolling Meadows. And how do you think going into an environment like this? You only had to do it once, but now you got to keep doing it and try and keep producing wins to get to the MSL championship. How critical is it to get wins on the road?
It really is, and this team is, we hope, road tested. Between some of the competition we've played away from Gene Walker, and it's a matter that these guys they understand the scout, and they understand the game plan, and they really look at how we try and use the summer into the fall into now the season to give you a chance to play in really big games in January and February. I think the seniors and the juniors are ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Max Christie, as you know, he scored 50 points earlier in the year against Elk Grove.
Sure.
How important is it going to be for your team to stop the side pieces with him? Because he's going to score a lot of points.
Sure.
But it's going to be critical to stop the other players from getting any sort of momentum as well.
Yeah, we put all that on Rathy. No, that's where Rathy makes his money.
I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Oh, he does. He knows it. Our team knows it. I think anybody who watches us play, he does an outstanding job, and it's been the relationship we've had, our entire careers together. Is I look more on one side of the ball, he looks on the other, and he's come up with some pretty fun game plans over the years, and I know he's working hard. He and the guys will have something rolling out here in the next few days.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to ask you this, and I think this is very interesting. You cannot pick Prospect to be the East representative in the MSL championship game. If there was one team besides Prospect you could pick to play in the MSL championship game, who would that be?
Who would that be?
Yes.
That's an incredible question. I think I'm going to abstain as the head coach. I can only see one team.
You can only see one team. Yeah.
And I think any other coach would tell you the same thing. I think I'll answer your question without ducking your question. I think there are multiple teams that can get there this year. I think the East is very balanced, and there's still a long way to go.
Yeah.
But in terms of that, you're going to
withdraw.
You focus on, you do everything you can for the Knights. I will say that there are multiple teams that can very easily win the East this year.
Who knows? Maybe we can see a 5-team race at the end.
You might. Hope not, Wyatt, but you might.
Who knows? All right, thank you, Coach, and
Absolutely.
Stay tuned for an interview with girls head coach Marie Miller. Welcome back to Prospect Basketball Week, presented by Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm on Prospect. I'm here with girls head coach Marie Miller. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, Wyatt.
Thank you. So Dundee Crown Tournament was your holiday tournament, and you finished as consolation champions. How does that feel?
It feels good. It's our first piece of hardware that the girls were able to win and earn on their own. Unfortunately, we lost our first game, a tough game against Maine South, but that put us in a position to win on the consolation side, which, we had a couple of very competitive games. Our first game in that bracket was not super competitive, but that's okay. We were able to kind of just come together, and that last game was a little bit sloppy, a little bit hectic, double overtime. We were able to pull it out, and we won in a little bit of a messy way, but I think the kids needed to do that in order to get some confidence in that they can do it.
How did you tell the girls to respond after a tough loss to Maine South on that opening day of the tournament?
Even with that tough loss, we still came back from behind. We were kind of like the comeback kids. It's kind of been our theme this year, which hopefully we can start to turn around and turn a corner after a good tournament. But just to keep playing like Prospect. Don't give up. Don't back down. The game is not over, because the game is never over until the buzzer actually rings. And even with our greater scoring game with Resurrection later on, we were still able to learn and continue to get better and give lots of opportunities to all of our players that continue to work hard every single day in practice and make us who we are.
Absolutely. So now you go back to the MSL East play, and you start with the Rolling Meadows Mustangs, a team that you lost to twice last year, only team in the division that you lost to twice last year. What's going to be the main focus against the Mustangs on Friday?
Being as mentally strong as we are physically. So many of the mistakes that we often do make are mental errors, either playing too fast for ourselves or trying to do too much. And we just need to stay simple, stay confident, and play our game and let everything else take care of itself.
Yeah, Rolling Meadows has had their very, very ups, but they've also lost to Buffalo Grove, a team that a lot of people didn't think they'd lose to. So how is it going to be important to stop their big star power seniors?
Very important. They're all shooters. They pretty much play 5 guards. But we need to have extreme pressure on the outside and make them beat us by attacking and finishing in the paint.
And how crucial it will be to get those paint players involved early and often.
Very crucial. Help, but minimally. Like, we have to play smart, because even if we help on a baseline drive or a paint drive or anything like that, they'll kick it out and they've got a quick release on their outside shooters. So we have to make sure that we're just ready on our toes and we're playing together.
So Rolling Meadows, this is a big game for you. You split the first 4 games of the conference schedule. Is this a must-win game for you for a chance to play the MSL Championship game in February?
Yes, it's 100% a must-win game for us, which puts a little bit of extra pressure on our kids, but it's extra pressure, extra excitement that really kind of adds to the sense of urgency that we need in order to get things rolling.
And how do you think that sense of urgency is going to play in the start of and hopefully the good start for your team against Rolling Meadows?
Well, a lot of our games that we've kind of again come from behind as this comeback kid theme we've developed. We've started the sense of urgency too late. So we're going to hang a lot on our seniors, a lot on our starters that night to go ahead and set the tone those first 3 minutes and really let Meadows know that we're here to play.
And you've had 3 out of your first 4 divisional games at home to start the season. Now you're going to have a tough road schedule coming up. How important is it to win these games in order to have a shot at the conference and get going for regionals in February?
very important. We need to be practically perfect in every way coming into this next 2019. So again, a lot of that comes with just mental toughness and the kids having confidence that they can rise above and they can perform. And I think winning the way we did at Dundee Crown in that consolation championship, I think that started to kind of help us turn a corner on our own confidence.
Some of the best teams in the state played at that tournament. And thank you, Coach Miller, and thank you for watching Prospect Basketball Weekly. We will see you next week.
Thanks, Wyatt.
Thank you.